The raid was over in 11 minutes. Too fast. Captain Elias Ward knew better than to trust speed on the frontier. Wars that lasted decades didn't end cleanly, they paused, waiting to collect interest. The ruins of the Carrick's breeding citadel smoldered beneath twin moons, ash drifting like black snow. Ward's unit, 6 humans and 4 allied species, advanced in silence, pulse rifles lowered but ready. The Alphas had fled. Or so Command believed. "Sweep complete in 90 seconds, said Lieutenant Oren, her visor glowing with threat markers that no longer existed. No hostiles. No life signs. Ward slowed near the eastern collapse zone. His helmet's audio filters caught something the scanners didn't. Not movement. Breath. Hold, he said. The squad froze. Beneath a shattered support strut lay a small shape half buried in dust and metal. Gray-gold fur matted with blood. A cub. Alpha species. No more than 4 cycles old. Its chest fluttered weakly, ribs visibly cracked. Weapons rose instantly. Target acquired, Oren said. Alpha juvenile. Terminate. Ward stepped forward, planting himself between the rifles and the child. No. Static rippled across the comms. Confusion followed, sharp, clipped, irritated. Captain, Commander Rex snapped through translation, his mandibles clicking. That creature matures into a war leader. Eliminate it. Ward knelt instead, setting his rifle down. The cub's eyes fluttered open, golden, unfocused, terrified. One paw twitched, then fell limp. It's bleeding out, Ward said quietly. 3 fractured ribs. Internal bruising. Severe dehydration. It's not a threat. It is Alpha, Rex replied. Their kind slaughtered our colonies. Ward didn't look up. So did we. Silence. Then, you will stand aside. Ward shook his head. I'm taking the cub. A pause stretched long enough for the wind to howl through the ruins. That violates every combat statute, Rex said. You will be charged. Ward gently lifted the cub. It weighed almost nothing. Then charge me, he said. But I'm not leaving it to die. No one fired. The squad turned back toward extraction, carrying more than they were ordered to destroy. Behind them, the ashes settled, and the war, unnoticed, shifted its weight. The medical bay denied entry immediately. Enemy biological, the AI intoned. Unauthorized presence. Ward didn't argue. He rerouted to his quarters and sealed the door. For 7 days, while tribunal protocols spun and charges were drafted, Captain Elias Ward became something the war had never trained him to be. A caretaker. He cleaned blood from fur with hands that had ended hundreds of Alpha lives. He improvised splints from ration crates, crushed hydration tablets into paste, and coaxed the cub to swallow. The child whimpered in fevered sleep, emitting soft, broken sounds that needed no translation. Fear. Loss. Calling for someone who wasn't there. Ward stayed awake through it all. On the 3rd day, the cub opened its eyes fully and tracked him across the room. On the 5th, it accepted food without flinching. On the 7th, it sat upright, scars pink beneath its fur. Ward called the cub Ash, after the color of the battlefield where they'd met. Outside his door, the ship prepared for judgment. Inside, something gentler took shape. On the morning of the tribunal, Ward dressed in formal black. He cleaned Ash's fur as best he could, wrapping fresh bandages and smoothing the child's ears. Whatever happened next, he would meet it standing. He never made it to the chamber. Alarms erupted. Red lights washed the corridor. Unidentified fleet detected, the intercom roared. Alpha signatures. Multiple capital vessels. Ward pulled Ash close and moved to the viewport. The stars were gone. Hundreds of ships filled the void, vast, angular, predatory. The kind of force meant to erase, not negotiate. "This ship is a corvette," someone whispered over comms. "We won't survive first contact." But the Alphas didn't fire. One vessel detached, glowing white with a universal parley field. Then came the message. "They are requesting Captain Elias Ward by name," command said, stunned. "They are demanding the return of their cub." Ash's ears perked. Recognition flared in those golden eyes. Ward exhaled slowly. The war had come to collect what it believed was already dead. The docking bay filled with armed guards, tension thick enough to taste. Ward entered carrying Ash in his arms. The cub trembled, but did not hide. The Alpha shuttle hissed open. 2 figures emerged. Massive. Scarred. Alphas in their prime, leaders shaped by conquest. The female saw Ash and released a sound that shattered every translator's emotional filter. Ash wriggled free and ran. The reunion was raw. Claws wrapped gently. Foreheads pressed together. The Alpha mother examined every scar, every healed wound, her breath shaking. Then she turned to Ward. The bay went silent. She was tall enough to kill him without effort. Instead, she lowered herself. Slowly. Deliberately. Until her forehead touched the metal deck at his feet. Her mate followed. "We came for our child," she said through the translator, voice breaking. "Alive, or as remains. We came prepared to burn your vessel and all within it." She looked up, eyes wet. "But you healed him. You were our enemy," she continued. "Yet you chose mercy over victory. Compassion over law." She stood and faced the assembled crew. "For 70 years, we believed strength was dominance. Fear. Erasure. You reminded us what we abandoned." She raised her voice. "By my authority as Alpha Prime, this war ends today. All prisoners will be returned. Borders reopened. Blood debts dissolved." Gasps rippled through the bay. She looked back to Ward. "You risked your future for one life. That is not weakness." Ash stepped forward, placing a paw in Ward's hand. "Thank you," the cub said softly. "For choosing." 6 months later, sunlight spilled across the peace enclave on Alpha Prime. Children ran through crystalline gardens, human, Alpha, and others, laughing without understanding what had almost been lost. Ash chased them, scars faded, future unwritten. Ward stood at the dedication stone as diplomats spoke of treaties and protocols rewritten from scratch. The tribunal had vanished without ceremony. The war was over. Humanity, they learned, was never about biology. It was a decision. Not the absence of fear, but refusing to let fear decide who deserves to live. The Alphas had come to claim a lifeless body. Instead, they found a mirror. And in it, the reason the war no longer needed to exist.